Hi, I'm Finn, and this video is going to be a lot more serious than what you would be used to on this channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my past. I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be my biggest mistakes. Warning beforehand for triggers and stuff. I'll be talking about neglect, emotional abuse, what I believe to be verbal abuse, alongside talking about other forms of neglect, other forms of abuse, things of that nature. I will be touching on sexual assault and things of that nature, so if you're uncomfortable with those, click off of the video now. Thank you. So, to start, I want to preface by saying I, alongside people around me, have never, ever, one single time, been a predator, nor have I been a deviant, nor have I been in any way someone who has caused or assault, nor have I committed assault on a person. Next, I want to talk about the fact that I will not be naming any sort of names or even giving hints as to who the people could be, as I do not feel like roping them into anything. But I do want to talk about this because I feel like it's important for me to be open about it, especially if I want to use this platform the way that I plan to. In my past relationships, whether it be a year ago, 3 years ago, whatever, every single one of them, I have been a toxic partner. Whether that be me being too clingy, too possessive, too quick to assume negative things about my partner, I have been. And that is not okay. Luckily, my first two relationships were just me being clingy and possessive, overly analytical about everything. But skip ahead to my third serious relationship. I couldn't tell you how many relationships it is overall, because some of them you just can't think of everything. But my third serious one, I was still clingy, still possessive, and I ended it in a very negative way. I would like to specify again, not a single time did I ever force this person to do anything. Whether it be emotional, romantic, sexual, nothing. Me and the second party, had a single super sexual interaction that was completely consensual, that we had talked about for almost a month beforehand. But I ended that relationship in a negative way due to the fact that behind that person's back I was talking to another person. Not throughout the entire thing, just for the last couple of days, as I had lost feelings and any sort of connection to that relationship. And alongside that, I had cheated feels like the right term, but emotionally, I had cheated on this person, which is not okay, and I do not, I don't expect any pity, I don't even expect to be forgiven, as I see it as probably the worst thing I've ever done. So I apologize to that person for that, and I apologize to everyone else who was involved, due to how negative it painted me how negatively it affected my friendships and how negatively it affected my friends whenever it comes to reputation. I would like to say that later that came to bite me in the butt, which is a good thing. It caused me to lose a lot of friends, caused me to lose a lot of sleep, and it caused me to lose an entire friend group that was completely my fault. The person who I had done that emotional cheating with, I would then get into a relationship with that lasted from September up until maybe February. And throughout that relationship, I was not a good partner. I was toxic, controlling, I was a negative impact. And this is the time where I get to talk about the abuse, as I was neglectful towards that person's feelings. And even more so, I was vocally and verbally abusive towards this person who I had cared about. The verbal abuse was not demeaning, nor was it like a weaponized assault. It was more so me getting angry or uncomfortable or whatever it may have been in that specific situation, and then instead of taking care of it in a healthy way, getting louder and aggressive in the ways that I spoke, which a lot of times led to what I consider to completely and honestly be verbal abuse of me using my voice to hurt my partner, intentionally or not. And that's not okay at all. I would have what I called flashes. I did not know the correct term. Turns out now I'm bipolar. At the time, I would say something incredibly sweet and romantic, and then minutes later, I could be aggressive, forward, and negative. And those things would just flip back and forth. And that is not okay either. Around the time that we broke up in February, I began seeing a therapist who was not helping me very much at all. Me and this third party, because the second party was the person that I had cheated on them with, or cheated with them on, my apologies, and we were still friends, and then we got back together maybe a week later. Not a good idea for either of us. Almost entirely due to the bad way I took our breakup, which I'm not proud of. I took it like a child instead of like a adult. Instead of my partner saying we're done, and me taking it like an adult and saying, okay, I understand, I apologize for any hurt I've caused you, blah blah blah, and being done, I took it like a child. I made a scene, and that's not okay. We got back together, and I would say I was better throughout the next 2 or 3 months. I would say 2 is probably more accurate. From February to early April probably is the correct span. Maybe a little bit past April. We were together again, and there were a lot less outbursts. I was a lot more towards the sweet side than I was towards my aggressive, negative side. And I say the word better because it wasn't done. It wasn't over. I was still being toxic. I was still being aggressive. And then we talked about it, and we broke up a second time. And this second time was final, and we were done. And instead of causing a scene and being rude about the breakup, I took it like an adult. I was told the reasons that it went that way, and I simply said, okay, I understand, and we were done. But I wasn't done there, because over the next 2 weeks, I'd say, I sent messages to this person. None aggressive, none coherently bad, just very clingy, which was not correct. It was the wrong thing to do, and I have admitted that for months now. Me and that person didn't talk for a while, and the next time we did talk was completely by accident, because I had their name in my phone was very similar to a close friend, and I was trying to send that friend a meme. The meme went to the wrong person, and we talked. And I had changed a lot. I had grown as a person, talked to a therapist that was genuinely helping me, and they picked up on that, because we met up and we talked, and they noticed a difference. They noticed I was calmer, less aggressive. I didn't have outbursts at all. I wasn't the person that I was. So we began talking. We did not enter a relationship, as for neither of us that would have been a good idea, not only for the history we had, but also because of where our lives were going at that time. But they had realized that I was not the same person. We hung out a few times, mostly in, I would say, a controlled environment, or a environment that wasn't one-sided, if that makes sense, making it easier to be comfortable. And that would have happened late November that we began talking, almost entirely platonically. In late December, we began talking slightly romantically, and then that kind of fell apart because neither of us were ready for that. Neither of us thought it was the correct way to go, and more so, neither of us really trusted each other that way. Not anymore. And before I go forward in the ending of this situation, I want to express that I have no hatred for this person, but they unintentionally harmed me in a lot of the same ways that I had harmed them. Which is part of why I don't want to name names, due to the fact that I'm going to say something that could be considered controversial and that I truly believe. That being that as much as I hurt this person, they also hurt me. And what I mean by that is this partner was very dismissive of certain issues that are mine. For example, when I expressed how much I was genuinely feeling guilty about earlier in our relationship, they kind of took that with like a grain of salt, treated it as if I couldn't fix it, I couldn't change, or I couldn't make up for it, which is okay. If I can't be forgiven or anything like that, that is fine, and I do not want to push that on someone. But I feel as though being in a relationship with somebody, you should be open to them growing and be okay with, if not helping, at least expressing that you want that change. which did not happen. Alongside them being dismissive towards what I believe to be the problem. A lot of these issues happen due to how I grew up. Situations like having no parents, or growing up too fast, acting as the adult whenever I was like 6, taking care of other siblings, whatever, and being dismissive of the fact that I was bipolar, being dismissive of the fact that the autism had a play in how I responded to situations. Not that they are excuses, not that they excuse my actions. I am completely responsible for every single thing I've done, but they did affect it, and it was treated as if those things were not affecting me, as if they were not affecting us. In early January of this year, that person was being friendly, genuinely, with the person who I was with before, the one who me and this third party had talked behind the back of. And they became friends, which I'm happy for. Good on them. Nothing negative towards them whatsoever. And they talked about me and how I had acted earlier in both relationships. And after careful examination from them, both of those parties decided that they no longer wanted to be associated with me. And it hurt, but it's what they needed, it's what I needed, and it's what I believe to be the right call from every party. And I took that correctly. Whenever I was told, I said, okay. I said, I understand, and I have not talked to them since. And I've grown more since then. At that point in November, I had grown so much and become so much of a better person. And now that to move forward even more months have passed, and I am still going strong. It has been almost a year since I've started that self-growth journey. And I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very happy with where I am and where I'm going. I think the people I surround myself with are a lot more positive. I feel as though they are better for me as a person, alongside me as a friend. I think the person I am and the people I surround myself with are so much better for me and for others, and they make me a better person every day. Whereas before, I was surrounded by people who didn't exactly take care of each other, who didn't exactly care about the emotional problems. I believe now more so than ever, I surround myself with beautiful, truly amazing people with beautiful hearts that I myself have began to grow what I believe to be a beautiful heart, and to become what I believe to be an amazing person. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. I have been toxic. I have been possessive, clingy, aggressive, and worst of all, I've hurt people that I cared about. I'll say this one last time, and then I will get to the point. I have never, even once, been physically or sexually abusive. I have never been in a situation where either of those are accurate to describe part of me. I can say positively that I have been verbally abusive, which is not okay at all. I was a dumb kid doing dumb things, and that's not okay at all. However, On the physical side, I have hit my friends as jokes, and every single one of them have been okay with it. Usually like little taps and shoves. Never has it been a slap. Never has it been a punch. Never has it been a bite or a scratch. And I understand that in certain scenarios that is not okay. And I have grown now as an adult to realize that in a lot of situations those are not okay. In my relationships, I had been pushy, physically so, but I had never been aggressive or abusive with it. And in each relationship, they were either okay with it or they told me to not do it, and I didn't. And I listened whenever I was told no by anyone at any point. My final point is why I'm making this. I feel as though I need to be forward and transparent and clear about who I am, what I have and have not done, what I have and have not planned, what I will and will not do in the future, and what type of person I am. And why I'm being so forward is that I truly love being here. I love YouTube. I love this. It's great. And I don't ever want to hide any part of who I am, what I am, or what I do. I do not wish for pity. I do not wish for forgiveness. I don't wish for anything like that. I felt the need to bring it up. I felt the need to express my sorrow and my guilt and my self-growth. And I felt the need to express that I understand I am not perfect, to express that I understand I have made mistakes, and more importantly, to express that I understand that even though those actions were not okay, those words were not okay, that being in that situation, making mistakes, is completely human. And I also want to express that me growing and becoming a better person is, and has been and will be, one of the most amazing parts of life. Becoming a better person, which I plan to continue doing. So I'll end this the way I like to end these, by saying thank you for everything. Drink something, eat something, and get rest. Thank you all.